sitting on a spinny chair. Hello there, guys. Welcome to the jungle. Today, we are going to talk about how to make an income as an artist slash illustrator. Or more specifically, I am going to talk about the 4 ways that I make an income as an artist. So when I was very diligently doing all of the research to figure out how to start an art and illustration business, about 3 years ago, I ran into probably one of the most important concepts that really transformed the way that I thought about things and really kind of made me understand how I could make this work. And that is diversified income streams. So essentially that means that your money comes from different methods, right? From different sources. So it just basically means that you don't have to rely on one income source. A good example of that is if you have like one big client who's basically providing you all of your income and then you lose the client. It's risky because like your livelihood depends on one stream of income. So it would kind of be the same if you have a freelance business model and you rely on a bunch of clients, but no work is coming through right now. Essentially, having diversified income streams lets you never worry, never put too much emphasis, too much stress on one income stream because it lets the other income streams carry you. So right now I have 4 income streams and they all work a little bit differently and they play pretty well together, and I'm developing one. I'm kind of missing like one key income stream and I'm developing and investing time into developing that one right now. So before I jump into like the nuts and bolts, my method for developing these income streams, like what I wanted when I started kind of mapping out like what my ideal business would look like, is I wanted a balance of passive income streams and active income streams. So passive income is income that you put a lot of upfront work into. For example, a picture book. You put all of the time and all of the effort into making the picture book and you're actually not paid like that much for all of the time investment, but then it goes onto the market and you get royalties over time and you don't have to do any more work. So then that kicks into a passive income stream. So really with any sort of licensing, product licensing work, it moves from active to passive. The same thing with ad revenue on YouTube. I mean, I'm not a good example of this because I like really don't make almost anything, but you know, someone like Zoella or something, she's got a good passive income stream from all of the ad revenue that she makes, and she's already made those videos. So those videos are just kind of like putting pennies in her pocket, like increasingly over time. So let's jump into what my income streams are. And I am going to list these from order of significance. So essentially like the largest stream first and the smallest or sort of more sporadic stream last. Number 1, and about half of my income comes from art licensing. So right when I started off my art business, I started working with a company called Four Hands, and together we developed a fine art collection. We knew that there was a market for wall art, and so wall art is essentially reproductions of art that hang on people's walls. And so we started that collection, and it was a big upfront investment. I had no idea what like the sales were going to look like or anything like that, but we produced a collection initially of about 10 pieces, and then we continued to produce collections every quarter, kind of with a different theme, and just, you know, really expanding our inventory and starting to see what the market liked and so on. And over time, this took about a year and a half to really start growing from an income stream level. But essentially, I get a small percentage of royalties from each sale. So as more retail stores pick up the goods, and as there are more goods on the market, the royalties expand. And this sort of revolves between passive and active income streams. So I'll take about a month every quarter and be developing this collection. And at the time of development, it's very active. But then the rest of the time, and for the collections that I've already developed, it kicks over to passive. So this has been like a really, really wonderful opportunity. I very much enjoy doing the work, and income-wise, it is my number one income stream at this point. It did take a while to get to this place, but at the moment, it is the main way that I make my income. The other benefit of this type of work, so this type of licensing work, is that you do not have to do any marketing or handle any logistics. So logistics being, you know, product inventory, shipping, customer service, returns, etc. That is all handled for you, and all you do is hand over the art file and you're good to go. Number 2, selling my own art online. So I sell through Etsy. I opened my Etsy shop again about maybe 2.5 years ago, and initially it was super slow. It was really not any sort of substantial like income at all. I was also not promoting it that much, and I wasn't really doing anything to add products or manage it. So Etsy does require, and sales in general requires a level of marketing and product development and customer service and all of that stuff. So this is an active income stream. But at this point, really in part because of the fine art sales from stream number 1, essentially I negotiated my contract so that I can also sell the prints unframed myself. So I'm not able to wholesale the prints to another like retailer, but I'm able to sell them directly to my own customers. And so that is essentially what my Etsy store has become. It's mostly selling like the fine art for people who want it in a different size, or want to frame it themselves, or don't want to pay like that much money for a framed version. And yeah, that is it has become, it's again, like it's growing, and sometimes like these income streams ebb and flow. I don't do as much marketing for Etsy as I could, to be fair, but since my my price points are quite high because my prints are quite big, I get a nice margin on the sales. So my business is really not as much about quantity. It's really more about like the sort of the size and the quality. So if I can make like a handful, like 2 or 3 sales on Etsy every week, that's like a nice amount of money that kind of helps like stabilize like my income mix. Number 3 is partnerships. And partnerships is one of the main benefits of having a community, having followers like on one platform. So it's a real benefit that YouTube has kind of unlocked for me. YouTube has really brought me in the partnerships that I will do, and thus far they've been with like art supply companies. So last year I did a partnership with Watercolor Snacks for their release of the new, actually art snacks. So I did a partnership for their release of their new product, Watercolor Snacks. And this year, and actually this is an announcement. Starting next week, I am going to be doing a weekly video series with Arteza. So I just recently did kind of just a play around with like a bunch of products that Arteza sent me, and they ended up really liking the video. So they pinged me and they were like, hey, like, can we pay you to make us a video every week just playing with our art supplies? And I'm like, yes, you can. I think that this will make me make more videos, which is nice, and also be more creative, not only with what I make my videos about, but also with playing around in the studio. It's really cool to actually have like focused playtime, which I definitely don't do enough of. So that's something that I'm excited about, and look out for the first one, which is starting, I think, the end of May. And I will say that for the partnership front, I have turned down partnerships for sure. I only do partnerships with people, and this is just a good rule of thumb, like this is common sense. I only do partnerships with people who I am in alignment with from like a values, like a product quality standpoint, and who play in my sandbox, right? And finally, number 4 is custom projects. So I actually am not, my business model is not a freelance business model. A freelance business model would be mostly consisting of projects, right? So a client hires you for a specific kind of job and you execute it and you get paid. And you can turn that client into an ongoing client, in which case you stabilize a little bit. But the thing about a freelance business model that I was not down with were really 2 things. One, I do not like pitching myself. It's really something that I'm working on, but I just don't enjoy it. And then number 2, I don't like not knowing like where a lot of my income is coming from and not having that stability. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of knew that it wasn't really going to work for me. However, I do get contacted about once a month-ish for a project. And again, this is one of these things that I have to feel out and feel into what else I have going on, but it's definitely a nice supplemental income stream. I don't count on this income stream by any means because it's not stabilized, so I never have any idea how big the project is going to be and whether any projects are going to come in general. But some examples of some recent projects that I've done are the custom panda playground painting for a little tyke named Henry to have in his nursery. So that was just really fun and adorable. And in that case, I worked directly with his father, who was lovely and gave me like a lot of creative space and stuff like that. And then another example is the flamingo wall paintings that I did in the boutique in LA. And in that case, the owner found me via my YouTube flamingos, I think, and just kind of contacted me and went from there. So usually people will find me somehow for a project and then contact me through my website. And I will assess if it's something that I want to do or not. And usually, again, it depends on timeline and budget. And then an income stream that I do not have going yet, but I have been consistently working on for like 3 years, and it just has not quite come to fruition, and it gets backburned a lot, is picture books. As you know, I have a huge heart for picture books and children's illustration, and funnily enough, it's what I mostly share, and I'm actually not making any money from it, with the exception of like custom projects or something like that. However, I am currently working on a pitch, a full dummy for Mr. T, and just getting together like a list of agents and putting together my work in the best way possible. And I am going to pitch myself really within the next month is my ideal timeline. So potentially that will be another income stream that would kick in likely next year, because that kind of thing takes a while to get going. And even when you start off with picture books, like, it's not that much money, you know? And that's the thing about a lot of creative income streams. The fastest way to make money is freelance. So when you're hired, you know, for a substantial project, you get that money in your pocket pretty soon, and it's guaranteed. And the slower ways to make money are a lot more investment on the upfront. They're more risky, but the reward can be so much greater, because also you can put a lot more of your own vision into it. And that is what I have really, really enjoyed about the things like creating the fine art, creating the children's illustration and stuff like that. It's really bringing my vision to life. So that, in a nutshell, is how I make money right now. This has changed on a yearly basis. It is not something that is set in stone or stagnant, or that I can even bank on. There is a great deal of flux and unknown that's inherent in this artist game, and that I also, you know, try to not stress out about and acknowledge and manage. So, you know, I keep an eye on this stuff, and I try to make sure that my mix is right and that my mix is working for me, and that I always have something that I'm moving forward, that I've got like some things that are just working, you know, that I kind of know what I'm doing, and I can just go on a little bit of autopilot as much as you can in a creative realm. But I like to always have something that I'm trying to build, that I'm trying to develop. And like I said, right now, that's picture books, and that just kind of makes me feel like I'm growing, I guess. So I hope that this little insight into how one artist makes a living was helpful and informative. And I would love to know how you guys are making it work and making it happen, or if you're struggling in any places and you sort of, you know, need help or have any questions. It was lovely to talk to you guys as usual, and I will talk to you again. So until next time, TTFN. Poop on a platter. Maybe I can wait until... I've got to wait for a sec.